In July of 2021, the law firm of Brenner LLP was hired, and it didn't seem to take more than a couple of days after that before all hell seemed to break loose. In what seems to have been only a few short weeks, we lost a city manager, a police chief, a public works director, and a human resources coordinator. Litigation ensued, and the legal bills mounted. The city is still trying to recover from the chain of events set in motion in July of 2021, and now it looks like our current city council is looking to replace the city attorneys who were there as the tumult and legal bills increased substantially. Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed and local government as honest as possible. In this video, we will be doing a brief overview of the June 6, 2023 City Council meeting agenda, with adding a little commentary along the way. We will be including last-minute changes to the agenda, which were published as part of an amended City Council meeting agenda. The first thing to notice is that the closed session is set to begin at 5 p.m. and last until 7 p.m. Open session is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. The teleconference call-in number is 520-525-8911. As we continue through the agenda, keep in mind the length of time allotted for the closed session on this evening. A 2-hour-long closed session has been scheduled, which implies a rather serious topic or topics in need of plenty of discussion. Although the closed session portion of the meeting will not be live streamed, the regular meeting will be streamed on YouTube Live. Comments can be submitted via email at citycouncil@livingstoncity.com. Comments must be received by 2 p.m. on the day of the City Council meeting in order for them to be distributed to the Council prior to consideration of the matter. You will need to provide meeting date, item number, name, email, and comment. Please limit to 300 words or 3 minutes, and please include public comment in the subject for the email. Written comments will not be read aloud at the meeting, but will be reported as received for the record. If you do not receive an acknowledgement of receipt by 4 p.m., please call the City Clerk's office at 209-394-8041, extension 121. Note, this technology is not a guaranteed method. Originally, under closed session, there was only one closed session item being discussed by the Council during the 2 hours set aside for closed session period, and that was the public employee appointment of a city attorney. Keep that in mind as we look at who is on the list under presentations. However, the amended agenda includes the addition of conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Jose Ramirez versus City of Livingston. That's the only real difference I see between the agenda as originally published and the agenda as amended. Regular meeting, which is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. After the Pledge of Allegiance moment of silence, roll call, closed session announcements, and changes to the agenda is citizen comments, which allows members of the public to address the City Council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Citizen comments are normally limited to 3 minutes per person. After that is awards, presentations, and proclamations. You will notice that there are scheduled 3 presentations by 3 different legal firms to introduce themselves and their proposed legal services they would provide for the City of Livingston. You will also notice that Brenner LLP is not on the list. After awards, presentations, and proclamations are announcements and reports. Time has been set aside for the county supervisor, city staff, city manager, city council members, and mayor. The agenda does not list any anticipated reports from city staff on this evening. This section is a list of commissions, boards, or committees which Jatinder Mann, Jason Roth, and Maria Soto are representatives or liaisons. The next section is the list of boards and commissions of which Gurpal Samra and Jose Moran are either representatives or liaisons. The section after that is entitled Receive and File and is a placeholder for any future investments reports received by the City Treasurer. After that is the consent agenda. There are only 2 items on the consent agenda. Both are routine items. There are 2 public hearings. The first is for the property tax assessment for the Livingston Benefit Assessment Districts. The second is for property tax assessments for the citywide Consolidated Landscape Maintenance and Assessment District. The final agenda item is a discussion and potential action item adopting the annual budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, the GAN appropriation limit, and the salary schedule for 2023-2024. The annual budget would be the overall plan of how much money the city expects to receive over a fiscal year and how much the city plans to spend over a fiscal year. Whereas the GAN appropriations limit would dictate how much the city would be allowed to spend in just general fund money alone. After that is council direction on future agenda items and then adjournment. The shaded areas on this slide show the properties subject to the Benefit Assessment District's property tax assessment. The shaded areas on this slide show the properties subject to the property tax assessment for the Consolidated Landscape and Street Light Maintenance District. I noticed something in one of the attachments related to the budget that gives me a little cause for concern, and that is the Community Development Fund is anticipated to begin the new fiscal year and end the fiscal year over $542,000 in the hole. That implies over $542,000 spent on planning, engineering, and other costs associated with development projects that have not been covered by fees or grants or otherwise paid for by developers. My understanding is, and I hope I'm wrong, is that eventually, if these costs are not passed through and paid for through fees, grants, or by developers, the general fund will end up stuck covering the negative. On another note, while doing a little research into the law firms vying for Livingston's business, I found this to be interesting. One of the law firms listed on the agenda is credited with helping to clean up the legal mess that had been created in Bell, California. Some of you may be thinking we need a little bit of a similar legal cleanup crew here in Livingston. If you like what I do here, please follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember, editorial content is my own as a long-term resident of Livingston and does not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or the City of Livingston itself, and sure does not hold itself out to be any kind of legal advice.